Yo, what's going on out there, Fight World? This your boy Money back with another one, fam. And this one here is on 3 future Hall of Famers in this fight game. We have the legendary Canelo Alvarez, one of the hottest fighters on the planet, the 4-division world champion, the current undisputed super middleweight world champion, and one of the top pound-for-pound fighters in the game. Then we have Terence Crawford, the 3-division world champion, the former undisputed world champion, the current WBO welterweight world champion, a pound-for-pound fighter in the game. Then we have the king, Errol the True Spence Jr., the king of the welterweight division, the WBC, the IBF, and the Super WA unified world champion, and another top pound-for-pound fighter in the game. Well, we all know we want to see Errol the True Spence Jr. versus Terence Crawford. We supposed to got that fight next, but we all know Terence Crawford, ducked the fight with Errol Spence. We know he's making up all the excuses in the world. He took a lesser opponent. So now, Errol Spence is waiting to make his announcement for his next fight. But Errol Spence want to let Terence Crawford know, yes, we might be the biggest fight in boxing right now, but you think you holding me back because you think you my biggest fight. You're not my biggest fight. Canelo Alvarez is my biggest fight. That fight is still a possibility. So I want y'all to know that Errol Spence is Terence Crawford's biggest fight. Canelo was Errol Spence's biggest fight. But Terence Crawford thinks somehow because he got that WBO, and that's to make Errol Spence the undisputed champion, he's holding back off of Errol Spence for making history, right? Terence Crawford, he made a statement. Who else could Errol Spence make 20 plus million with if not me, right? So in Terence Crawford here, he feel like, oh, if Errol Spence don't got me, he's not going to make his biggest bag. You understand? His biggest bag is with me, and that's negative. One of his biggest bag is with you. Your biggest bag is with Errol Spence. Let's get that clear. Terence Crawford's biggest bag is with Errol Spence. His biggest fight is against Errol Spence. You know what I'm saying? He knows that. But he want to stall the fight out. Nervousness, duckness, whatever you want to call it. Some people want to call it, oh, well, it's the business. No. Because business was still good on Errol Spence's end. He just didn't want to do it because he's arrogant and he don't want Errol Spence, to beat his ass and get that scrap. So now he's stalling out, and I don't know what he thinks is going to happen next, but he think he's holding Errol Spence back from history, which he is. But at the same time, Errol Spence is a possibility that him and Canelo can meet in the future, right? Canelo 31, Errol Spence 32, if I'm not mistaken. Canelo is at 168 right now. Canelo once entertained a fight with Errol the True Spence Jr., and, it was very possible. But now that Canelo, might go for Dimitri Bivol at 75 or might have Bivol come to 68, that just let us know that Canelo is going to reign at 168 pounds. You know what I mean? He's going to reign at 168 pounds, and he's not going back up anymore. He going to stay at 68, and he will retire at 68. But Canelo Alvarez versus Errol the True Spence Jr. is the biggest fight in boxing if it comes to fruition. Canelo Alvarez versus Errol Spence Jr. is the biggest fight in boxing if it can come to fruition. But, Terence Crawford need to know that you're not Errol Spence's biggest fight. That's negative. You know what I'm saying? Canelo Alvarez, we all know, has, we could say arguably probably the biggest draw in boxing, right? Has a fucking outstanding fan base. Fought in Dallas, Texas before, right? Breaking a record, setting that record. And we know him and Errol Spence at the Cowboy Stadiums breaks the record for the most attended in a fight, especially at the Cowboy Stadium, right? At the Cowboy Stadium, they will break it. They will sell out every seat inside the building. That shit would be live. That shit would go crazy. The press conferences will be on fire. And that will be the biggest fight in boxing if that fight comes to fruition. Now, what weight is going to be the question. Errol Spence say he won't go past 160. Canelo say he probably don't come back down from 168. So, if the money's right, 165 might seem more, more feasible for both fighters. 164 or 165. You know what I'm saying? We all know if the money right, EJ, he'll make it happen. If the money right, Canelo Alvarez, he'll make it happen. But, Errol just want to let Terence Crawford know, you think you holding me back because you're a free agent. You do big business in boxing. You think that you are on a Canelo Alvarez level. You think that you're on a Floyd Money Mayweather level, and you're not. You're not even close. You're not even on my level when it comes to business. Let's just keep it real. You're not on my level when it comes to the business. This would have been your biggest bag going up against me. Would have been my biggest bag going up against you. That's a fact. But you're not my biggest bag, homie. You just right now. You feel me? You just right now. Tomorrow will be tomorrow. Especially when Errol Spence decide to move up and weight. You know what I'm saying? But right now, he's lingering on if he want to stay at 47 or go to 54. He don't know right now. You know what I'm saying? But that time will come. That time will come. But it comes down to Terence Crawford, who robbed us out of a history fight because he's arrogant, right? He has trust issues, and he's insecure, right? He thought Al Haymon was trying to fuck him over in the fight when Al Haymon was just trying to do good business with the dude, period. The dude got everything he asked for, and he still cried like a baby. Errol Spence just exposed everything that he wanted, he got it. And he still cried like a baby because he thought he put together a deal that was just spectacular and superb. You feel me? But he didn't know nothing about that deal, where the money was coming from, or none of that shit. He just thought he did something good. You know what I mean? And at the end of the day, it stopped the biggest fight in boxing at the moment. You know? But you can't stop Errol Spence from shining, man. You can't stop Errol Spence from grinding, man. Errol Spence ain't even pissed off at you for going to get your little $10 million, allegedly $10 million. He just said, don't hold me back. Now you got me fucked up, and now I can't even fight this year when I wanted to fight this year. You know, if that was the case, if you wanted to go fight a motherfucking C+ fighter, you should have just went on ahead and done that and left me alone, right? Told my team, you going in a different direction. That way me and my team could have went in a different direction, and I could have been fighting in November instead of waiting on your lying ass and you going to do something different. You feel me? So now, right, we'll see how these things play out. We'll see if this fight come back around and see how it play. But a little background story on Canelo and Errol Spence. Oscar De La Hoya wanted this fight at 154 pounds. You know, back when Canelo was still signing him, he wanted to sign Errol Spence to Golden Boy. He wanted Errol Spence to face Miguel Cotto before Saddam Ali fought Miguel Cotto, right? He was willing to put Miguel Cotto up against Errol Spence, fight for the WBO scrap. Errol Spence beat Miguel Cotto, get the WBO scrap, then they'll be facing Canelo Alvarez in the unification bout. Oscar De La Hoya always knew that this was a big fight. That's why Oscar De La Hoya is so pissed off, and he's kind of mad at Errol Spence because Errol Spence never signed back to Golden Boy promotion. He wanted Errol Spence under his banner so bad because he knew Errol Spence was the truth, and he knew what type of fight Errol Spence versus Canelo Alvarez would be. Then we all know Canelo said, as once upon a time, he'll only come to 160 for one fighter. Yeah, he said he'll only come to 160 pounds for one fighter, and that's Errol Spence, because he respected the way Errol Spence moved. He knew Errol Spence was facing champions after champions after champions. He knew Errol Spence had the Cowboy Stadium on lock. He knew he drew a big-ass fan base, and he knew that he was arguably the hottest fighter on PBC over the Cholos. Be real. Canelo's not dumb. He know great business, right? He knew Errol Spence was the hottest fighter even over the Cholos. So he like, me and Errol Spence, big-time fight, Texas, Mexican fan base, black fan base, bring them all together, go mix it in with the whites and everybody else, but that fan base coming together makes for great business. Makes for great business. You understand what I'm saying? And Canelo was once ready to entertain that fight. We all knew that PBC even tried to offer Canelo the fight at 164 pounds, but Canelo had other things in mind. Didn't mean he was afraid of Errol Spence, didn't mean he ducked Errol Spence, cut that punk ass shit out, but he had other things in mind. So, just with that being in Canelo's head and Canelo understanding the business of the game, understanding, what sells, he will entertain that fight in the future, right? Errol Spence most definitely will entertain that fight in the future. Once he get to 160, once he see how his body filled out, things of that nature, as long as he's still on the winning streak, as long as Canelo Alvarez still on the winning streak, it's going to make perfect business sense. It's going to make perfect business sense. Errol the True Spence Jr. versus Canelo Alvarez in a big-time mega fight that's going to break records, and that bitch is going to sell. It's going to sell. And that would be Errol Spence's biggest fight. When you look at Terence Crawford, him being 35 years of age now, the biggest name that he can fight right now for him is Errol Spence. He's not going to 54 to face no Charlo. He's not going to 60 to fight nobody. His max weight right now is at 147 pounds. If Terence Crawford was to go to 154 pounds, it'd be for a certain selective fight. That'll be a good opportunity for him, but he's not going up there to campaign because he's too small to campaign at that weight. Period. No matter how people want to slice and dice it. He's not going to 54 and become a 154-pounder. Terence Crawford will campaign at 147. That's where he'll stay. And at 147, the king of the welterweight division, the fight that everybody want to see is him and Errol the True Spence Jr. And that is his biggest money fight. And he just might fuck that fight up, right? He just might have fucked that fight up doing dirty business with Al Heyman and things of that nature. So it's going to come down to Errol Spence to see if you want to do business with Terence Crawford again, give him another opportunity. Al Heyman probably don't trust him because if somebody fuck you once, they'll fuck you twice. But we'll see how that play out. Other than that, EJ going to make his move to 154, become unified champion at 154, go to 160, become unified champion at 160. And at that time, where it looked like his career is coming to an end, if he's continuing on a winning streak and his name is still as big as it is, as I think it should be, I think him and Canelo will negotiate to meet at a catch weight for the biggest fight in boxing. And Terence Crawford will see that you blew an opportunity to make your biggest bag and that you could have fought an all-time great. And now your ass going to look stupid in the history books while Errol Spence's name is going to stick out. Straight like that, man. So, to the Crawford fans and the Fagonites and the fanatics that think Terence Crawford did something, spectacular about dodging and avoiding Errol Spence, it's going to come back and bite him in the ass in the future. Mark my words. If he don't fight Errol Spence, next, and this fight don't take place, it will fall back on Crawford. And there's nothing he can do about it. Shouts out to EJ. Shouts out to Canelo. The biggest fight in boxing in a couple years. Straight like that. Until then, it's your boy Money's the NSBC moving. Ain't nobody safe in these streets. Hit them thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel. If you want to donate OG money on Cash App, TreyHampton52@gmail.com on PayPal. If not, just tell a friend, hit that subscribe button. Like, comment, share the videos. And y'all know how your boy get down, man. Big dog status, family.